Hey, Stoney here, and this is Mechabellum Tournament. At the bottom here, we have CrossFit playing as a Elite Specialist, and he's up against Tucci's playing as a Fortified Specialist. And this is the Mini Tournament Americas, and I think we're in game number 3. So technically, we're counting this as semifinals. So far, both players already won 2 of their previous games, so now they're trying to fight for this finalist title. We do have a few other very strong contenders. I think Dachshund is in this division. Sparty is in here as well. So we'll see. So right off the bat, we have some very interesting crawler placements. All right, marksman this far forward often signals for a assault mode marksman start. It looks like he's just changed the last minute. Looking at Tucci's, we got balls and crawlers. This is a very typical ball crawler one-sided aggro play. Though I'm not entirely sure if the positioning of these crawlers are optimal. Usually when you do ball crawler, you want to have the crawlers directly following the balls so that after the ball takes the first shot or tanks the first shot, the crawler will immediately run forward, dealing the damage while these big units are locking onto the balls. Okay, so it does look like it's going to be a Assman carry after all. Oh boy, level 2 crawlers is always such a dangerous thing from Elite Specialists. He almost guarantees the first round win just because how powerful they are. We do have a few balls left, but I don't think they'll survive the onslaught of these 2 marksmen. All right, looking at Tucci's, I'm not entirely understanding the idea behind these ball placement. I think the first one is coming in purely as a tank, whereas the second one is coming in as a damage dealer. Haze module is picked up for CrossFit, and on Tucci's side, I'm actually inclined to suggest Fortify Hacker. It is one of those cars that people don't usually pick up, but it is very strong. Hacker, just like Marksman, right? Usually a very weak unit, but with the Fortify Hacker card for the cost of 150, really, you can use the hackers on the front line, and they will actually do a ton of tanking. The 500% increase in health for hacker bumps it, I think, up to about over 10,000. So even with these Aspen shooting at them, it would take quite a few shots before it can bring the hacker down. And not to mention, once the hacker locks onto these Aspen, that's going to spell disaster for CrossFit's board. Another interesting thing to point out is that when you play these sort of one-sided aggro, the other side is often neglected, but just looking at the boards here, so we got CrossFit, who did take a level 1 tower upgrade, so at the very least is protected from that first round of crawlers if Tucci does decide to put crawlers here, and Tucci just left it wide open. No upgrades, no nothing. So CrossFit could technically just put some crawlers right here on the line, runs in, and get the tower. All right. Typhoon is going to be a great pick for CrossFit. Last round he lost because of the lack of Chaff clear, so Typhoon is going to fix that. Tucci did take the impact sure on these crawlers. All right. So I've played this before, I think, and Rhino is an excellent card for aggro. Sure, you can get it to that tower. So the way it works here is you start putting down a lot of crawlers. You're going to have crawlers at the front, you're going to have crawlers at the side, and you want to take impact drill followed by either replicate or sometimes mech rage, right? You just want to get a lot of crawlers out to do some damage. When you have that many squads of crawlers, usually you force your opponents to go one of 2 things. One, you're forcing them to go with Wraith, and 2, you're forcing them to go with Vulcans. Fire Badgers is also on the table, but it's a rare unit card, so you don't always get it. So Wraith is probably the number 1 thing that uses to defend this against the crawlers. And when your opponent does that, what you do is you put down the unit that directly counters the Wraith. Most of the time, it's going to be some sort of anti-air marksman or Wraith themselves with degen beam. It actually works really well when you have Wraith with degen beam and a lot of deadly crawlers. All right, so it looks like the crawler problem is being resolved here with these two typhoons. CrossFit is elite specialist, which means he can bring level 2 typhoons who deal a ton of damage, not just to the crawlers, but also to larger units as well. But with the tower debuff, I think these typhoons are going to fall to this level 3 Rhino with the haste module. And I wonder if this is going to be a level 4 Rhino after this. Looks like it. Yep, level 4 Rhino. All right, looking at the board here, Mobile Beacon is very useful. And when it's being offered in a card, you can potentially take that Mobile Beacon. It's the same cost as the Mobile Beacon at the tower. If you're ever planning on using some of these, just take the one from the card if there are no other better options. For example, in this case, you know something is going to respawn in front of this Rhino. You just know. There's no way a level 4 Rhino is not getting responded. What you can do then, if you have Mobile Beacon, is simply just go this way and then down to the tower. Right? You can avoid whatever's in front of it and just go down to the tower. Later on, because he does have multiple Rhinos, if you got the Mobile Beacon from a card, you can also take a Mobile Beacon from your tower, and now you got 2 Rhinos running around in all directions. So it's one of those things that new players don't always take. It's the same thing as redeploy, right? When I first started, I looked at redeploy card and was like, oh, that's a waste of money. That's a waste of 100 supplies. But the more I play, the more I notice just how powerful that is, because we redeploy on a unit such as like a level 4 Rhino, you can just go left, right, forcing your opponent to put down units to counter, and then move the unit away, leaving whatever unit your opponent just put down useless for the most part. Okay, so the Rhino is fully countered by these steel balls. On the other side, this Rhino is getting to the tower. However, without the level 3 Rhino, I don't think there's any firepower left in the 2 cheese board, which means these typhoons are going to take the game. Okay, we're going to round 5 here. Wow, another unit drop. Okay. Fortress is picked up for 2 cheese, and Wraith is picked up for CrossFit. I think Wraith is a good pick, considering there's currently no anti-air whatsoever aside from these level 2 fans, which is a very odd choice on its own, because these fans with Mech Rage are running into Marksman, which are going to do really well against them. Typhoons, going to do really well against them. Now Wraith. So these fans, I'm not entirely sure why it was level 2 and why they got Mech Rage in the first place. Bit of an odd choice. Because that's, that's 150, 150, 450 resources plus the tech. So it's about 700 resources that you could have spent on a giant. You could spend on a lot of rhinos, right? There's a lot of things you can do. So we got a fortress here that's walking at 14 meters per second. This fortress is going to cause a bit of a stir here. When you're up against assault mode marksman, one of the most important things is to prevent these assault mode marksmen from getting too many levels. Once they hit level 3, they can reliably contest level 1 giants, so you really want to stop that from happening. But right now, this is it's a little confusing and it's a bit concerning from 2 cheese board. So here's what he has planned, right? So he got Chaff that are running forward, and what this Chaff's gonna do is hopefully take care of this marksman. Nothing really shoots air for this Wraith, so this level 2 Wraith is actually just gonna kill every single Chaff down here. Once the Chaff are dead, then the steel balls are in business of hitting these fortresses and killing the fortress. This Rhino here is doing a lot of damage, but this round is going to be won by CrossFit because 2G doesn't have any anti-air. Now this fortress is pretty tanky though. It's going to take down these typhoons with them, and it's going to get another level. What if a hacker is offered again? Now it might be a little too late. But 45 hacker is actually not terrible, because if you take away the Chaff, right, get rid of the crawlers, everything that's left are units with less than 5 models. The balls are 4 models, but balls themselves are actually terrible against hackers because they have this charge up time. So if a hacker gets one of the balls, all the rest of the balls turn and start charging up on the trader ball, allowing the hacker to take another one. So balls are actually pretty bad. And outside of balls, these are 2 model units, and then these marksmen are just single model units. So hackers really do have a place on this board. Probably not Fortify, but definitely a place. Now, Fortify has this interesting trade-off of survivability. Hackers are very squishy by their nature, but if you can survive a little longer and range doesn't matter, which in this case, right, you're just right here, it could work. But if I were to play hacker, I'll probably get the regular hacker and just put it behind and get range on a hacker. They'll do the same job, and they'll be doing them from relative safety. All right, we got lots of fans. I wonder if it's got fan production on the forts, and in fact they do. So with fan production, and at some point with Ignite, these fans will be able to take on the raid. But for now, the steel ball with suck is going to kill a lot of giants. All right, come on. Ooh, launcher overload on the forts right there at the front line is actually pretty devastating. I think 2Cheese is a few turns away from this dream build where he has shielded fans with Ignite, launcher overload with fortress, and fan production. That will be the dream team, because that's a very difficult board to play against, especially when all of their units are on the line here. All right, portable shield. That's going to go onto this level 2 fortress, I believe. Oh, no, it's actually portable shield for CrossFit. So going on to the balls. And we have tank production on one of the forts. We're going to keep leveling them up. Armor on the arc lights. Very strange, actually. Why would you want to get armor? In fact, I wouldn't even keep these arc lights around, because you have so many fans with mech rage. You don't need more chaff clear. What you do need is fan shield, so your fans stay a bit longer, and then eventually get into Ignite. Or if you don't want to get Ignite, you need dedicated anti-air units in the form of either Melting Point, which is actually pretty good, or just Marksman, right? And you want to start your Marksman off at level 2 so that they can actually do the damage they need into this Wraith. The Wraith themselves pick up 8 guns, so now they're doubling their damage against both the fans and also these giant units. We do have a pretty sizable flank coming over with not a lot of defense. However, the Wraith with 8 guns is actually doing a lot of work on the Chaff. But the big problem here is, yeah. Ooh, they got locked down. And once they got locked on long enough, the suck is actually just going to kill everything. Yeah, that was an excellent game here. And the balls are, especially this pack of balls with super heavy armor, is going to level. And yeah, that's going to be a bit more difficult to stop. Even for a level 3 fortress with launcher overload. All right, Phoenixes. This is actually a great card, because I was just talking about there's no answer right now to the Wraith, so Phoenixes is going to be a great card. Also takes EM, so takes away the tech on that, takes away the tech on the balls, which are currently in front. And once without suck, these balls aren't actually doing too much. Sledgehammers are added in. Sledgehammers are not very useful at this juncture. If I were CrossFit, I'd probably pick the Phoenixes myself. Sledgehammers, I don't know what they're good for. I mean, they can do a bit of tanking. Without Mech Rage, they're not going to be effective Chaff Clear, and you don't want to tech Mech Rage when you only have 2 parts of Sledgehammers. I would rather sell one of the Sledgehammers in favor of Typhoons if Chaff Clear is your problem. Or I would sell one of the Sledgehammer and just put down like 3 sets of level 2 steel balls. That's actually a lot better than just keeping Sledgehammers. Right now, Sledgehammers serve no real purpose because you already have Chaff Clear in the form of Wraith and Typhoon. I'm surprised he's not fortifying this side even more, because he's obviously not winning it, and getting this tower could be pretty devastating. Alright, I am liking Tucci's side, however, he's very close to dying. So if CrossFit can just break through one more round, and he's able to get this game. Now, it really all comes down to the Phoenixes. If the Phoenixes can get to the Chaff and get onto these steel balls, it's going to have a great time. But if it cannot, as you can see right now, the Phoenix are still stuck on the crawlers. Yeah, so this is probably... no, actually, the Phoenixes might actually clean up here. There's enough of them to clean up here. Which means we're going to have quite a turnaround. I believe Tucci's board is very strong. I think Fan Shield is definitely the most logical next step. It doubles the survivability, especially from a Wraith with 8 guns. So I definitely want to have Fan Shield. And with that, I also would like to see a little bit more Chaff Clear coming from Tucci's side. Because earlier, right, with these all these freaking crawlers, they really are holding these Phoenixes back. So if you can have some Chaff Clear, maybe just in the form of some Stonecrawlers, just bombarding this line nonstop, you're gonna have a great time. Both sides have a ton of money to spend, right? If you hate Stonecrawlers, that's okay. Just put down a bunch of Arclights, and it will do just fine. Get them range. Probably not even need range. Right now, the Arclights, they do stay behind the fortresses. So just get a bunch of level 2 Arclights, and that's just going to keep shooting at this line of crawlers very quickly, allowing the Phoenixes to lock onto the steel balls and now the Overlord. Overlord does have a photon emission, which means the steel balls would not get EM'd for quite some time. Okay, Tucci, where are your Chaff Clear, right? Because without EM, then these 2 fortresses, they actually die very quickly. So I would love to see another way of dealing with the with this unit here. Okay, so we got 4-star walking. Fans are getting scary. You got level 3 fans with Mech Rage, so they serve as pretty decent Chaff Clear. Alright, so now this Wraith is now in front of the pack. Can we bring it down before the fans suffer irreversible damage? And looks like the fans did get destroyed. However, we have so many forts left on the other side, and only a few Overlords, and these Overlords are just gonna get popped. And this was a smart move. Merging half of your army with the other half that's winning. Ooh, let's get a steel ball. Yeah, they are electromagnet. And I think that's game. Nope, one more round. Alright, we're going to round 10. I think it's got to be senior, man. Ooh, it's going to be assault fans. 40% more damage. Is he going to take range? Because without range, that's 60 meters. 60 meters. Steel balls outrange your fangs at this moment. No range, but shield. These Fangs are just brawlers. They're gonna walk in and they're gonna punch everybody in the face. Ooh, that's exciting. We have level 3 Fangs, 256 damage, right? Ooh, that's very spicy. All right, so let's take a look at the boards. Can blue actually turn this around? Now looking at blue side, more steel balls. I don't know. Fan production. You could technically get this through more steel balls. Phoenixes are gonna be like, if you're gonna do steel balls, then you just need to make sure that you have units in front of the steel balls and nothing between the steel balls and the fortresses, which means these Wraith are gonna have to put in the work. Right now, these Wraith do not have the range, which means as soon as it's getting close, it's going to stand in front of everything, which, you know, as you can see right now, they're just getting popped by Phoenixes. And without the Wraith, your steel balls will never get through this layer of Fangs. And without getting through the layer of Fangs, then you don't win because you have fortresses on the ground. Alright, so, oh, it looks like we are pushing through here. Because of the lack of army. Most of the army are moved over. And unlike the last game, the army, there's actually a lot more army from CrossFit that survived. So with the tower debuff, this is going to be a game to CrossFit. Very well played. It's a very close game, lots of back and forth. Yeah, extremely well played. And even then, is this even game? Yes, it is game by just 23 hit points. Wow, excellent game. I hope you enjoyed this game, and I hope to see you on the next one.
Prepare your tactics. Mechabellum's calling. Deploy your fortress. The battlefield's alive with swarms.